All right, so we're diving deep today. Ready?
Definitely. Always up for a good deep dive.
You sent over this article. It's from Built-in
Yeah.
AI, right?
Yep.
Seems like it's changing everything. Work, industries, like the whole world. This article's pretty intense.
It is. It really paints a picture of how fast things are moving.
Yeah. So let's break it down. What do you say? Figure out what's going on with all this AI stuff.
Sounds good to me.
Okay. So it's kind of wild, right? AI went from like this niche thing to being everywhere.
Right. It's pretty amazing how it's become such a big deal. Like a driving force in the world, really.
Totally. The article starts off with this like little history lesson. Back in the 50s with those checkers programs.
Oh, yeah, the early days.
Can you believe how far we've come?
It's mind-blowing. The speed of progress is just incredible.
I know. From simple games to AI beating chess grandmasters and even Jeopardy champions.
Like in just a few decades.
And now we've got this generative AI. It's like a whole other level.
Definitely a game changer.
The article talks about OpenAI's GPT and Google's Gemini. Those are some big names.
Huge. They're creating text, audio, even code, and it's all human quality.
I read about this company, DeepSeek. They're doing something similar, but way cheaper.
Oh, yeah, DeepSeek's interesting. Their models are almost as good, but a fraction of the cost.
What does that even mean? Like, how does that work?
Well, they're using a totally different approach to building and training their AI. Super efficient, doesn't need all that crazy computing power.
So it's not just that AI is getting smarter, it's also becoming more accessible.
Exactly. That's a huge deal. Smaller companies, organizations, they can all get in on the action now. It's like leveling the playing field.
So how's this playing out in the real world? Businesses and all that?
It's everywhere, really. You wouldn't believe it. The article says 55% of organizations are already using AI in some way.
Seriously?
Yep. Automation, streamlining processes, you've got chatbots handling customer stuff. AI is even helping companies make decisions faster.
So it's not just hype, it's actually happening NOW.
Big time. It's not even a question of businesses should use AI anymore. It's HOW.
There's this quote in the article from an NVIDIA expert really stuck with me. They said AI is less about solving problems we already know about and more about finding new opportunities to use it.
Oh, yeah, that's a great point. It's like AI is changing how we think about problems and solutions.
Like a whole new way of looking at things.
Exactly. Instead of just making things more efficient, it's opening up possibilities we never even thought of before.
Like what? Give me an example.
Well, take manufacturing.
Yeah.
Instead of just using AI to speed things up, we can use it to create completely new materials or production processes.
Whoa, okay, that's pretty futuristic.
Right. The possibilities are endless.
Okay, but what about jobs? That's the big question, right? Everyone's worried about AI taking over.
Yeah, that's a valid concern. The article talks about job displacement, especially in areas like manufacturing and admin work where things are pretty routine.
So those jobs are at risk?
It's definitely a possibility. But think about it. Technology has always changed the job market. Like when cars were invented, those carriage makers, their jobs went away, but then we had a whole new industry pop up around cars.
So AI will create new jobs, too.
Absolutely. New roles, new opportunities we can't even imagine yet. It's a shift, not just a loss.
So it's more about evolution than extinction.
Exactly. The key is adapting, retraining, learning new skills that work with AI, not against it.
The article really hammers that point home, upskilling and all that.
It's crucial. We need to be prepared for the changing demands of the workforce.
So what kind of skills are we talking about?
Things that AI can't do. Critical thinking, creativity, problem solving, emotional intelligence, those human skills, they'll be even more valuable in an AI-driven world.
It's like finding that balance, right? Human skills and AI strengths working together.
Exactly. It's not a competition, it's a collaboration.
But the article doesn't just focus on the good stuff, right? It also talks about the potential downsides of AI.
Right, because like any powerful tool, AI can be used for good or bad. Understanding those complexities is super important. We got to be responsible about this stuff.
Like what? What are some of the downsides?
Well, one big one is biased algorithms. If the data AI learns from is biased, then the AI itself will be biased, and that can lead to unfair or discriminatory outcomes.
Oh, yeah, I've heard about that, especially with things like loan approvals and hiring.
Exactly. So we need to be super careful about how we develop AI, make sure it's fair and transparent.
We can't just wait for problems to pop up. We have to be proactive about preventing them.
Absolutely. We need ethical guidelines, principles, a commitment to doing this right.
And what about the environment? I mean, AI uses a lot of energy, right?
That's another big one. The article talks about how AI can help us with climate change, like optimizing energy consumption and stuff.
Hmm.
But then there's the energy it takes to train these huge AI models. That's a concern too.
So it's a double-edged sword.
It is. We need to be smart about how we develop and use AI, consider the environmental impact along with the benefits.
Okay, so we've talked about how AI is changing businesses and some of the potential problems, but what about specific industries? How is AI changing healthcare, transportation, all that?
That's where things get really interesting. Let's dive into some real-world examples and see how AI is shaping the future of these industries. Let's kick things off with healthcare. AI is making huge waves there.
Yeah, the article talks about drug discovery, diagnostics, even surgery. AI's involved in it all.
It's crazy, right? Like, we're living in the future. Detecting diseases early, better treatments, improving people's lives.
Definitely sounds like something out of sci-fi.
It's happening right now. And personalized medicine is getting a big boost from AI, too. Treatments tailored to your genes and lifestyle. Imagine that.
Wow, so no more one-size-fits-all medicine.
Exactly. It's all about your specific needs.
What about those virtual assistants, the AI ones? The article mentioned those in healthcare,
Oh,
too.
yeah, those are becoming more common, answering questions, scheduling appointments, even giving basic health advice.
Think they'll ever replace doctors completely?
That's a tough one. They could definitely help out, free up doctors to focus on the more complicated stuff. But I don't think they'll replace human doctors entirely anytime soon.
Makes sense. Okay, let's switch gears. What about finance? The article says AI is being used for fraud detection, risk assessment, even trading.
Finance is all about data, right? So
Yeah.
it's the perfect playground for AI. AI is crunching numbers, finding patterns we might miss, catching fraudsters, assessing risks. It's pretty impressive.
So AI is basically a financial superhero.
Kind of. But what about the average person, the everyday investor? How does AI help them?
Good question.
Well, there are these robo-advisors. They're powered by AI. They give you personalized investment advice, manage your portfolio, all tailored to your goals and how much risk you're comfortable with.
So you don't need a fancy financial advisor anymore.
It's an option. Makes investing more accessible, especially for people who maybe can't afford a traditional advisor.
Yeah.
AI is leveling the playing field in finance, too.
Wow, that's amazing. Okay, enough about money for now. Let's talk transportation. Self-driving cars, that's the big one,
That's
right?
what everyone thinks of, right? The article dives into that, too.
Yeah.
We're not quite at fully autonomous vehicles yet, but AI is already making cars safer.
Oh, yeah, like those lane assist features and adaptive cruise control, that kind of stuff.
Exactly. AI is analyzing data from sensors and cameras, keeping you in your lane, making sure you don't crash.
So AI's already saving lives on the road.
It is. And think about self-driving trucks. That could revolutionize the whole trucking industry.
247 deliveries, lower costs. It's a game changer. But what about the truck drivers?
That's the flip side, right? It's a big question how AI will impact those jobs. We need to find solutions, make sure people aren't left behind.
It's like a constant theme. AI creates opportunities, but also raises these tough questions about the future of work.
It does. It's a complex issue we need to address. But let's move on to education. AI is changing how we learn and teach, too.
Okay, how so?
Imagine personalized learning, tailored to each student's needs and how they learn best. The article talks about AI tutors, giving one-on-one instruction and feedback, helping students master concepts at their own pace.
It's like having a personal tutor for every student.
Exactly. It's incredible. And there are adaptive learning platforms. They adjust the difficulty and content as you go, making sure you're always challenged and engaged.
So everyone gets the support they need to succeed.
That's the goal. AI can make education more inclusive, accessible for everyone.
But what about teachers? Are they going to be replaced by robots?
No, no, no. AI is not here to replace teachers. It's about giving them tools to be even better. AI can handle the routine stuff, like grading, and provide personalized recommendations. This frees up teachers to do what they do best, mentoring, inspiring, fostering a love of learning.
It's about that human connection, right? That's something AI can't replace.
Absolutely. It's about finding the right balance between technology and the human touch in education.
Speaking of human touch, let's talk about media and entertainment. AI's everywhere there too, right?
Oh yeah, big time. AI is writing news articles, creating special effects in movies, even recommending what you should watch next on your streaming service.
Those recommendations are scary accurate sometimes.
I know, right? But there's a dark side to this too. AI can be used to create fake news, manipulate media, make it hard to tell what's real and what's not.
So we need to be extra careful, double-check our sources.
Media literacy is more important than ever. We can't just believe everything we see and hear online.
Okay, last but not least, let's talk about customer service. Those chatbots are getting pretty good these days.
Right. They're handling more and more customer interactions, answering questions, resolving issues, even giving personalized recommendations.
So they're basically like AI customer service agents.
Pretty much. It can definitely improve things for both customers and businesses. But will they ever replace human interaction entirely?
Yeah, is that even possible?
It's a good question. AI can handle a lot of routine stuff, but sometimes you need that human touch, that empathy, especially when dealing with complex or emotional situations.
So it's about finding the right mix, AI and human interaction working together.
Exactly. And that seems to be a common thread across all these industries.
It's like a partnership, each bringing their strengths to the table.
Exactly. AI is a powerful tool, but it's not a replacement for human judgment, creativity, or empathy.
Okay, so we've seen how AI is shaking things up in all these different industries, but what about us, the regular people? How do we navigate this AI-powered world? How do we prepare for what's coming next?
Those are the big questions, and they're exactly what we'll tackle in the final part of our deep dive.
So we've seen AI changing healthcare, finance, all these industries, but where does that leave us, the everyday people?
Right, like how do we fit into this whole AI-powered future?
It feels kind of overwhelming sometimes, doesn't it? Like all this tech is moving so fast.
It definitely can. I think the most important thing is just being aware of what's happening. Like what AI actually is, how it works, and how it could affect our lives.
Like knowledge is power.
Exactly. The more you understand AI, the better you can adapt to these changes.
So education's key.
Totally. And it's not just about getting a degree and being done.
Yeah.
This is a lifelong learning thing. We need to constantly be learning new skills, updating our knowledge.
Like online courses, boot camps, always be learning, right?
Exactly. And those skills, they don't have to be super technical either. Think about things like critical thinking, creativity, communication, being able to work with people. Those are the skills AI can't replicate.
So it's not humans versus machines. It's about finding that balance, right?
Exactly. It's about working together, each bringing our own strengths to the table.
The article talked a bit about the ethics of AI too. Like it's not just about the technology itself, but how we use it.
Right. Responsibility is huge. AI is powerful, so we need to make sure it's used for good, protecting privacy, fairness, all that.
So it's not enough to just build cool new tech. We have to think about the consequences.
Exactly. We need to make sure AI benefits everyone, not just a select few.
Build it with a conscience. I like that.
AI's future isn't set in stone. It's something we're all creating together. And by understanding AI, adapting to change, and making ethical choices, we can create a better future for everyone.
That's a great way to put it. So as we wrap up this deep dive into AI, remember, the future is not just something that happens to us. We can shape it. Stay curious, stay informed, and let's keep this conversation going.
Absolutely. Keep learning, keep exploring, and until next time, thanks for diving deep with us.